Alright, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. This is a weekly recap for the last week of December of 2023. So the first thing we'll start at is I track how IBD record their daily trend, and we have a market in correction trend on October 31st, but on November 1st is when the market actually turn to uptrend based on their technical indicator. And since then, it has been uptrend in whole November. And then we see our first distribution day on December 4th, and then we saw another one on the 6th. And then we haven't seen one till the 20th. This was a pretty big down day on Wednesday. And then now we saw another one on Friday this week. So but we're still in a confirmed uptrend. Now we're standing at 2 on distribution days on NASDQ, 2 on S&P. Usually when you get close to 4 or 5 in a really short time period, that's when we're seeing institutions unloading some of the shares that they're holding. So that's when time to be more cautious. So since we're on the screen right now, I'll talk about the accumulation distribution we track. So in terms of number of stocks this week, it's very minimal. Volume is really light, so there's really not much accumulation or distribution. Overall, it's still more accumulation than distribution, but again, this week can be trusted because everything is just low volume. So you can see even on the sector level, there's not much movement. Everything is on low volume right now. Okay. On the stock side, let's look at S&P because we want to do a recap. We really, like I said, we bottom on the 27th, and then November 1st is when we start to see the uptrend started on basically the 4th day of since the bottom. And from there, we basically, haven't seen many down days, right? Like, you can even count, right? There's probably around 11 down days for S&P. This being a distribution day here, basically on higher volume selling, this is another day here. Now, of course, this week, like I said, the volume is gonna be super low, so it's kind of hard to use this as a gauge for anything, just because volume is so low. We look at NASDQ. They both make new high this week, closing like not all-time high, but recent highs. But same idea here. We had a distribution like a couple of weeks ago on the Wednesday, and then now we have another distribution day on Friday. Now the volume is slightly higher on NASDAQ, as you can see, on above average. So that's also interesting. But overall, we still see lots of blue day volumes than red day volumes. So we'll see how once the new year start, how things gonna go in the first couple of weeks. And then we'll be basically into earnings, right? After that, so like the banks will be reporting and so forth. So we'll see how things gonna turn out for companies, and how the economy is doing in general. Figure out where things are. Let's look at Dow quickly. That's the only one who has made new all-time high, and so we broke this about 2 weeks ago. Hasn't really come back to it. That's very interesting, very strong. So this is also a good sign for the market because this is the first index that make new high, and but it is a little bit stretched from the 50-day line, which is the red line. So it's a little bit further away. So that could also signify, this is right here. This is on the daily chart. You can see the gap is starting to widen quite a bit, and so there might be some sort of consolidation here, right? To just rest or something. So don't be I guess be cautious about that because it could be coming, the pullback. And then we finally have Russell, the small cap. So we again, Thursday was a selling day, and then Friday it really came down. So again, we're getting back to the 10-day. This is a very strong slope for the run. So obviously Russell, like I said, it has really climbed up, from the bottom. It was obviously the weakest index. Now it has, broke through this longer term resistance. If we go to weekly chart, we can see it very clearly. It broke through that longer term resistance. The next level is 2138. So it hasn't come quite close to it. Probably it might need some time to digest around here before it continue. So So next we look at the 10-year yield. This is the weekly chart. It's coming straight down at a very strong slope right now. You know, the trend is probably continue to go down lower just because it broke the 200-day with no support whatsoever. So usually that might indicate that there's more room to go down. How far down it'll go, I don't know. Like, 35 might be a good round number, but the lows here are around 32, 33. Next, we're gonna look at the US dollars. Again, this chart is a little bit not correct here, but the trend is correct. So it is going down right now. We saw some bounce on Thursday and Friday. I don't know that will last, but it is yeah, it is coming down still. So until it breaks this trend, I think we want to stay just watch the US dollar. Yeah, so look at oil price. So the oil price rebound, and then now it went back down this week, right? Like, look how fast it came back down. So that's a very negative sign. Again, I think the downtrend is still in place here. So we probably hit the upper channel line, and now we're going back possibly down to the bottom channel line again, like which is around here, 60 level, which is yeah. So we'll look at the CME futures on the rates here, on the interest rate from the Fed. So right now, January, not much change. So 83% still think will stay the course. And then we'll go to March. That's when most the market thinks it will start to cut rates by a quarter point. There's a chance for more than a quarter point. There's some people think it might, but yeah, that's very minimal. And then in May we'll see another cut down to 475. So that's 2 cuts in a row. In June, we'll go down to 450. So that's the 3rd rate cut. July it will also go down another one. So that's fourth rate cut here. September it goes down to 4. So that's the 5th rate cut. So that's almost every month they will cut. That's what the market is saying right now. And then again, just by a little bit, another rate cut in November. So that's 6 rate cuts. And then December, that's when it stays. So it stays at 375. We'll end the year at 375. That's what the market is predicting right now for the next year. 6 rate cuts. This week, there's not much news. Manufacturing, construction spending, U.S. job opening Wednesday. So labor market will be reporting on Friday. Unemployment report. So we'll see. Estimate right now is 170, which is down from 199. So that's going to be the going forward. This number again will continue to determine the labor market, how companies are doing, how consumers are doing. How people, when they have jobs, they're going to keep spending, but if they don't have jobs, they're going to start to slow down. So we'll see how that number looks like. I think the market is really just hoping that it stays around this number, right? 200, yeah, and or even the high 100s. So as long as the market can continue to stay strong in the labor market, then probably the economy might be doing okay. We'll look at some sentiment now. Right now, yeah, it's pretty high. Like, there's starting to be extreme greed right now in terms of sentiment. But look at the timeline. It was higher like 2 weeks ago. So it just kind of bounced back and forth here at this level. So it's pretty high in terms of, you look back the chart here since last year. This is the whole year last year. And it is, yeah, 75, 76. Oh, this one got to 82. Yeah, so here we got 80. Okay. The AAII sentiment dropped a little bit this week, which is also surprising, 52 to 46. The bears increased from 20 to 25. So that's interesting too. So there's more there's more people feeling is less bullish. So that's interesting, right? Going into the last week of the year. So I don't know like what that means, but uh, but let's look at what was it called? Let me find it. Secondary indexes, okay, indicators here. So we're just looking at the, one thing that has happened quite a bit is the 10-day moving average here, new highs versus new lows at the bottom. So as we can see, like since this rally start, there's way more stocks making new highs on the 10-day moving average, and then the ones that are making 10-day moving average new lows are like it's going lower and lower. So again, that signifies more breadth, market breadth. But right now it's starting to curve down right here. So I don't know. It might have to be a little bit cautious here. The oversold oscillator is okay. I mean, we did hit this point right here around 1,000. That's what that David Ryan focused a lot around this level. He said once you hit that 1,000, you probably need to be cautious. So yeah, it fell back down pretty fast. I'm surprised how fast it fell back down. Now it's like, I don't know, from this chart it looks like it's already down to 500. So usually between 0 and 1,000, that's on the bullish side, and then below 0 is like the the oversold indicator, right? So right now it's like we kind of back to the 500 level. So yeah, I was just surprised how fast it came back down to 500. So that also kind of go in line with the AAII sentiment, because it seems like it went down. People are less bullish all of a sudden in 1 week. That's interesting. Probably some people, yeah, take profit at year end and stuff, right? I don't know, but I'm just surprised that it went down so fast. So some of the highlight from IB newspaper this week talk about upward. Highflier during COVID, this stock dust off its wings. So let's see how it's doing. So it's building a nice base right now, and it's near the high. It tried to come out, but it fell. But it came back to the, the 10-day moving average. So it's holding tight there. Again, this is a pre-COVID stock that now has come back a little bit. So it still have lots of resistance here, this level. So so that could be a problem. But the again, so this is like one of the base patterns where, when looking at bases, you really want to look for tight patterns, and that's what it's doing right now. We're starting to see the volatility die down. We're starting to see, the tight areas here. So this is looking really good. So it might be just a matter of time before it breaks out and take off. So it just need more time. I think there's lots of like right here, this area, there's lots of resistance level which is still within a year and a half of the time frame. So so there's lots of people probably trying to get back even here. But yeah, but this is a very clear signal buy point. It is turning around. You can see the earnings coming back, and sales also look reasonable. So yeah, so this could be Upwork, they obviously, a lot of freelancers use it, and yeah. The next one, IBD highlight, was ANET. It's forming on the weekly chart, it's forming what they call a 3-week tight pattern. So again, this is after it came out from this base here, double bottom base, and it went up really slowly. You can see it week to week, it just went up a little bit. And now, and then it has this strong wick here, and then now we're tightening again. So this again, this stock is one of those stocks that just slowly move up, but nonetheless it does move up. Obviously strong fundamentals. Let's go into the daily chart here. So here you go. So now it's already at the 20% profit margin level from this base right here. Yeah. So Yeah, so here from here, yeah, so I guess it did go 20% pretty fast here in a few weeks. So now it's just digesting the 3-week tight and it's holding at a 10-day. So it looks pretty good. Um, Again, volume is super low right now. Really, none of this can be used to determine whether this is strong or not. Uh, yeah, the relative strength is a little bit weaker, but that's understandable. Like, it's now trying to digest the strong gains here. Um, yeah, so that's that one. Okay, so next one. So there's BXX on Friday make a move after the report that FDA might approve its Farapulse treatment for heart condition in the first quarter of 2024. So let's go look at that one. So lots of medical stocks and mergers happening lately, right? So looks like the biotech sector is starting to fire up again. So that's also good news, right? Because that means the market breadth might continue to expand. So this stock broke out and then really didn't do much for, quite some time. And then now it finally, has some good news and it's taking off. So still early stage here, breakout. Chart looks really good. I don't know if this is a fast moving type of stock, but at least it breaks out. So it may go to 20% eventually. Yeah. So this is Boston Scientific. So TJX also make a move on Friday. See the weekly tight base here. Like that's actually quite tight. 8%. That's the depth of this base. That's really tight. I mean, compared to this one, 12%. Yeah. So I mean, actually, yeah, this stock trade pretty tightly. I'm surprised. But anyhow, it's one of those stocks like here it broke out and it has a nice move. Probably you won't expect big gains, but maybe 20% gain might be good. So right now it's trying to break out. So it's a nice base. It's a nice looking base. Look at how many times it tests at the bottom. So that's also a really good sign. It just basically finally this is it. And now it's yeah, the slope is starting to move up nicely. So yeah. So Caterpillar is doing also very trying to come out of a base right now. The slope is also quite strong at this moment. Yeah, so it came out and then it kind of pulled back slightly Thursday, Friday. Um, Look at the bigger picture here on the weekly chart. So I've taken some small positions here. We'll see if it breaks out, but it looks pretty good right now. Volume is pretty high here on the bounce. There's some more volume came in. Yeah. So yeah, this was a deep base, 24%. Yeah, but the numbers are stunning. So again, I think this is obviously a Caterpillar, right? That obviously a global story, right? They're globally company. Um, with the US dollar down so much, this is going to be one of the companies that benefit from that. And that's why I think Dow is so strong because most of those Dow companies are all global, right? And so if USD came down quite a bit, it's going to help them with the US, non-US numbers, right? And I guess the thing is, is the global economy growing or not, right? And that's also important. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so IBD also highlight two chip stocks. ARM is one of them. This is an IPO stock, broke out a few weeks ago. Numbers are pretty strong. It's a nice cup base, and so we'll see. It did kind of fall back on Friday, so on high volume. The other stock they highlight is Manpower. Not Manpower, Monolithic Power. So this is also trading really tight after it breaks out. That's exactly what you want to see. Holding strong at 10-day moving average. Selling volume is pretty low here, even before the Christmas week. So that's a good sign. So I think yeah, this one has probably more room to go. Just looks pretty good. A little bit slowed down on the earnings side. So Core is a newer name, and they're this is IPO 21, and it helped with modernizing construction management. Uh, it provides software for the industry. So this stock, obviously, you can see the chart is very ugly. I do not like it at all. Um, you know, even this right here, like you can see, I actually have a line here. It broke down, so it should be tightening up, but it didn't. It is coming back right now. So that's the one of the things that IBD said. It has a lot of fundamental potential. Like this is what the fundamental looks like. It's starting to explode here. Growing. The only thing is the chart looks really ugly. And the relative strength line is kind of weak as well, right? It's just really low. But yeah, like if they can continue to grow the fundamental side, maybe other people will start to get in. But right now, yeah, I mean it has a long way to break out. Like this is probably the trend line early entry point right here. So far it's been holding this early entry point, so that looks really good. The slope is pretty strong. Yeah, so this is obviously the breakout buy zone right there, traditional buy point. So we'll see. But it is moving up right now, so it's recovering. Like obviously you can see it found resistance here at the previous level. So again, this stock has been very volatile. We'll see if it can tighten up and stuff. So yeah, as we mentioned, Friday has a distribution day, and there's definitely some selling happening. Whether, especially at year end, I didn't expect that to happen because, I would expect volume to be lower, but it wasn't. It actually was higher. So, let's look at the stocks that are kind of getting hit right now, right? So ANF, really strong retail stock all year. I mean, it's probably for sure in the top 100 list, for IBD in terms of performance. So here we see the upper channel line on the daily chart, and it broke it here, and then it went up a few more days, and then here we see a reversal at the top here, trying to make new high. It just ran out of power, and then now it's been down 3, 4, 5 days now, and it broke through 10-day on Friday. The volume is I mean, again, you can't trust this last week's volume, but it's not super high. So the question is whether this will be a more substantial pullback or whether this is gonna bounce off, like say the 10 and 21 day here, which is possible. But right now the RS rating is also starting to actually start to move down since over a week ago. So yeah, definitely maybe have some cautious here around this. So again, on the weekly chart, you can see, right, it kind of broke the upper channel line, like, not much, but it did. And now it's pulling back. Question is, again, is it time for it to take a rest? Because this is a pretty long run so far. It's like, so, yeah, I missed a whole part right here at the beginning, but I'm glad I was able to buy some here on the pullback, buy some here on the pullback, and I got pretty much this week. So again, it may bounce back. Again, this is one of the strong stock, really support fundamentals. So we'll see, and yeah. So App Living, it was a strong performer this year as well. But recently it didn't participate in the uptrend, which is very surprising. It has been building, first it has this double base, and then it fell because it broke out and then it came back. And now we have another small cup with handle pace, very pretty tight. Well, not tight, 21% depth. So, but it looks, it didn't go down as low as the previous lows. And then here on the daily chart, you can see this cup with handle pattern. So it's finding support right now at 50-day, so that's a good sign. But yeah, but I don't like how it, you can see the relative trend line has been going down recently. It hasn't participate in this rally as much as I want. So, but anyhow, it is one of the leading stocks this year. So SMCI is definitely another leader this year. Went really strong in the first half, and then it just basically gave up after that. And then it's building this nice long base. And look at how many times it tests the lows here. And then the most recent low is actually, didn't go as far down. And then the other thing that's happening is the 200-day moving average has caught up. And it just gyrates around this red line, which is the 50-day moving average. And now it's in the upper above it for quite a while now. So this is a good sign. Like, I think this is the longest it has been above it. So it looks like, but right now it's pulling back again. Again, relative strength is also really weakening. So, but yeah, this is like a nice cup with handle pattern right now, like this, right? And it's the time, in terms of time, is long enough that it could work, because it's been a while now. It's been like many months of building this base. And it did hit a new high also 2 weeks ago. So right here. So yeah, so everything is setting up. Who knows? Like, I mean, this year it has such a strong run, it has to pause, right? So maybe next year it'll continue. Like, so I think, yeah, a lot of people kind of starting to give up on this stock, like because of this recent gyrations. But I think this is one of those stocks, right? Like just like right here, even after it breaks out, it just didn't move as much as people wanted, and a lot of people gave up here, and then all of a sudden it just moved. So I wouldn't look away from this stock. I just say like, hey, wait for it to tighten up, which it is right now, trading really tight even on the 2 down weeks, right? I'm surprised like these 2 down weeks are so tight recently. And so maybe a new year start, it can, hey, go for a big run again. So I think everything is setting up for this stock. It was leading last year. Maybe it's going to be the stock leading in the new year again. Who knows? So another good stock this year that's leading is Duolingo. And obviously this has an AI related theme. And you can see the run is tremendous. Build a double bottom base, and then it didn't come out at first. Again, here's where a lot of people probably got shaken out again. And then I think the earnings really changed everyone's mind, and then it has been going up since. Not a lot, but like, moving nicely. You can see the 50-day moving average or 10-week moving average moving at a pretty sharp angle. But this last week or so has been going down. So yeah, again, you see this stock breaks out on this strong earnings and move up. So from 200 level, it hasn't moved up much. Now it's back down to 226. It got close to like 245 or something. Yeah, 245. Right now, it trying to find support at the 10-day, but it failed on Friday. You can see here, came back now to 21-day. So the last time it found support at 21-day. So the question is whether it will find support here, right? So that's the problem, right? Like this is a good example, right? Even the strongest stocks that found support at 10-day, if the market doesn't act well, it will bring it down. And so now it's all of a sudden it's at 21-day. So I hope, if New Year, because it's a new year, like, I hope people are not going to sell off to take their gains. If they do, then we're going to see the market see lots of distribution, and that will probably bring a lot of these stocks down. So yeah. So yeah, but it has, I mean, depending if you do hold this stock, depending where you buy it, but from the original breakout, it has gone up quite a bit. But if you buy it after the earnings, then you haven't gone up much. So 50 days coming up to the at the 200 level now. So probably that'll be a good support level. But you know, again, I'm not sure, you know, how strong of a pullback in the market, in general market will be. But like I said, this is a strong sign, right? How the market pulls the stock down on Friday. So if we see more distribution days in the new year, I think most of the stocks is gonna get hit harder, right? So I just want to highlight some of the stocks that are on a downtrend right now, like CLS, IoT, ALKT, Zscaler, um, Expedia, Datadog. We talked about ANET earlier. Uh, yeah, even Salesforce, Team, Guidewire, Zillow Group. We're gonna look at the seven Magnificent Seven. So we end the year strongly. Everyone talk about the Magnificent Seven, how it has outperformed this year, and you can see Meta right now um, broke out recently. Now is at new high again. Um, right? Like at least it didn't close at a high, but this week it make a new high. Um, yeah, so this is very strong Meta, and look at the daily chart. Um, It's very tight trading. I mean, this stock has always been tight, but I mean now it's even tighter. Like it's crazy how tight this is. Um, and then but Friday again, like I think the market pulls down this stock on Friday as well. So so yeah, I think general market is very important going into New Year. It seems like it can start to influence even the best of the best. So that's usually a sign that you need to remain cautious because I mean, like this is not a big pullback, but we could easily see another pullback, right? But we'll see. So that's Meta. I think Apple is also near new high. Yeah, so it's near new high, but it came out a little bit and then it came back in. But it's again on the weekly chart, like it's just so tight, right? Like again, I've never seen Apple trade so tight. I mean, look at all this tight week area right here. Three tight week tight. And even on this last 2 weeks that are down, I mean, there's like two ways to look at this, right? You can look at this chart and say, yeah, everything is tight and looks good. But the other problem is that the RS strength is going down. Again, what does that say? It means that the market was up, right? The last 2 weeks. It's been up 9 weeks in a row. But yet, these stocks are not coming out. So that also tells you the other side of the story, right? Which is, despite the market is stronger, it still didn't come out. So that worries me. So that's why I'm more cautious than ever in this whole run so far. So you can see they're starting to dwindle down, starting to form a downtrend channel. You can see the RS rating weakens quite a bit. So this is all signs of not good, right? Even though on the weekly chart it looks like nothing. It looks like everything. The price still looks good. It's not that far down from the high. Everything looks good, right? And that's something that I don't know what's gonna happen in New Year, but I'm leaning more cautious because of this kind of behavior that's happening. So this is Apple, but I mean I'm seeing a lot of stocks doing that, right? So Google, this one also make new high recently, right? Broke out from this cup with handle pattern. Um, I'm still holding this stock. Again, trading really tight. Finding support at 10-day moving average. So Friday actually closed at the top, but again, it got pulled down by the market, right? 3 days in a row now. So yeah, I mean it could fail. This breakout could fail. Like I mean, it could go down further if the market like couldn't. It's gonna see more distribution, but at least it bounced on Friday, so that's a better sign than Apple. This one, Microsoft, again, really tight. Like I mean, all these tight actions is supposed to be good signs. So I don't know. Maybe the market will start the new year with a rumble and start going higher again. I don't know, but maybe or maybe not. Maybe it's gonna start to break down. So don't like I say I'm more cautious just because like you have a good December, right? But what did Microsoft do? It formed a tight pattern. Why is it not breaking out? Why is it not moving? Right? You have 4 weeks to move and it didn't move. And that worries me. Right? So even though the pattern is so tight, like I've seen this before. I don't remember the last time I've seen it, but I've seen it before where really strong stocks are forming tight pattern while the market is moving up. But that's not a good sign, right? Because it should be moving as the market is moving. So that's the other side of the coin you could look at. And so look at all these tight patterns. Yeah, it looks great, but why is it not moving up? All right, and our strength is actually like kind of down sloped it, like, so that worries me, right? That's why I'm more cautious going into New Year. So this is Microsoft. Let's look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA also trying to break out is very tight. Like I mean, all these giant mega caps is like so tight. I cannot believe how tight they're trading. So let's go to daily chart because this is so tight you can barely see anything. So here you go. Look at all this tight pattern, like so tight. But yet, what does it do? It doesn't break out. So you have like how many, from the first, yeah, basically starting from the first, this whole month of December, it didn't move much. Like look at this move here. Look at how strong this move here, right? Why is it doing this? Why is this slope like this? Why is it not breaking out like this? And so again, another sign of like not participating in the rally in December. Yeah. So I'm worried. Like either people are selling behind the scene or no one trusts this rally. I don't know. One of those two, right? So one of the things that I'm watching for the new year and the first few weeks is whether mega caps get sold off, because last year was such a strong run. Anyone who got in them, they have a huge profit, over 100%, like NVIDIA and Meta. If they start taking profit, we won't see that into the new year, and these stocks could, come back down. I don't know how far they'll come back, but it depends on when they're selling stuff. But we'll see, but I want to know whether they're going to start taking profit. And if they start selling on the mega caps, the next thing you're going to ask yourself, are these going to impact other stocks, right? Are these going to force feed others to also sell other stocks? So I don't know. I'm just saying right now, I don't like how it's not participating in the December rally, right? They should be moving, but they're not. So, yeah. Look at Tesla. Again, Tesla also, slowly climbing the right side of this base. I think it did kind of break the downtrend a little bit, but it hasn't moved far enough to be considered safe. And let's go to daily chart. Yeah, you can see this base forming. It has a channel line right now, but again, it just keep going sideways, right? Like yes, it is moving higher, slowly moving higher, but it's not strong, right? Like why is it not like this slope? Why is it not like this slope? So you have to ask yourself that question. Like we have a strong December, why is it this slope? So that worries me, because when things get uglier, they probably will turn more ugly as well. The strength is not there. So this is another one. Let me see if I miss any. Amazon, okay. So Amazon, I mean, it always keeps making new highs, like you can see here. But the way it make new highs frustrate me because it takes like how many 7 sessions to make one new high and then it come back down. It take 10 sessions here, it make a new high and then it come back down, even test the 21 day, and then it finally take off again. And then what did it do? Again, it comes back in. Like again, now we are again the lows of the range again. Like this stock frustrates me a lot. Now it's still better than the other stocks because the other stocks not even making new highs. At least this one is making new highs, but it just won't move. It just won't move. Again, very frustrating. Like it's not like I don't know. you know, Amazon, like Meta is the only one that really, um, you know, it's at least it's this one make new high, it doesn't come back down as like that like Amazon did. And then Google, I mean Google also a little bit frustrate me, so we'll see. I think right here it came back down, but this time it broke out. It's holding, like I said, Friday's move is very um proactive here because it kind of closed at the top, but who knows, right? Um, so we'll see. But like I say, most of the Meg 7 right now, I don't like the behavior at all. I mean, they did not participate in the December rally. You have a whole month to participate, and it didn't. So that scares me, and I don't know if that's going to lead the general market down. So that's one thing. I think the mega caps are definitely look a lot weaker than it should be. Yeah. Any questions on Pinterest has a strong run since it break out right here. Um, Like here is making like on the weekly chart, it's making a tight 3 weeks area, so it looks pretty good. Let's go on the daily chart. So right now it's trying to find support at the 10-day, and it's trading really tight. Friday it did close at the bottom, but I mean it's still near the 10-day, so I don't think that's a problem. Um, Relative strength has been coming down though, so again, um, that's the thing about charts, right? When it starts to come down, it may not look that severe usually at the beginning, but it could get ugly, and that's the problem. Like this thing is already above 20% threshold, so we don't know, right? Let me see if I can find anything. What was I mean, this guy hasn't really run much. This is the first time it ran, so yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I just say any stocks that have run up a lot, like probably need to be a little bit cautious. The other one that came to mind, let me see, Uber. So Uber, look at the chart, it's very similar to Pinterest, right? It went up really strong. We make the 20-25% threshold. Um, and now it built sideways. But again, looking for support at 10-day. Look at this, 10-day, 10-day, 10-day support. Every day it was trying to find support. And then it moves again right here on this day. And then Friday it got downgraded by some company, and then the market follows it, which is interesting. This is the thing, right? When market is flowing against upstream and it still can do it, meaning with bad news, it still move up. That's a good thing. But now bad news come out, it follow it. That's also another negative sign. So something to be aware of. Why did people sell on this downgrade all of a sudden? Like, if there's still so many bullish analysts, why would one matters, right? So, is it time for it to build another base here? I don't know, but I'm just saying, be aware of that. And also, the relative strength line has been like not really strong in over like almost 3 weeks now, so that's also weird, right? Again, I'm looking for stocks that are outperforming the market, right? That's my first job. Second job is like if any stock is underperforming the market, I would rather sell, take my profit, and wait for another potential buy point, right? Like if this is going to be a strong stock, then it might gyrate around here and then break out strongly, a very clean cut breakout. That's a good time to buy. But I'm willing to wait, right? But I don't want to hold this stock because it's on the downtrend relative strength. It could sell on Friday because of the downgrade, and market follows it. So there's a huge potential for people to start now taking profit. Again, I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, coming back to the compounding aspect, I'm not going to wait. If this stock not going to break out, like, it should have broken out right here. Like, it should have. But no, what did it do? It followed the downgrade news, which is the opposite. And it closed at the bottom too. It didn't even come close at the middle or whatever. So those are signs I look for, even though again, the chart looked perfectly on the weekly chart, but doesn't mean it always works. So that's something to be aware of. So, but yeah, I do believe one of the story I heard about Uber, and I never heard think that far, but Charles Harris was on Friday on IBD Live, and he talked about you know Uber, but more so he was talking about Tesla, like how self-driving could really change the world. But think about Uber for a second, right? Like they were talking about Uber. If self-driving ever became true, how much money will Uber make? Well, right now today they say about 60% of the expenses are going towards the driver. So I mean, if it becomes self-driving, they're going to save so much money. Their profit margin will shoot up instantly. So yeah,
Hmm.
so this could be a future titan, right? When it comes to self-driving, because they have such a big business, and if they can even do partially self-driving in some areas, they're gonna start to make a lot of profit, especially in some areas. But I don't know. But that's a little bit, obviously still a far-fetched thing. But it just indicate how who's gonna benefit from self-driving, right? Besides Tesla, Uber will be like one of the big benefactor. Pulse, right? Obviously one of the best stocks this rally. Um, It did broke the upper channel line, went up for 3 more weeks. Now it's forming not quite a tight pattern, but I consider it a tight pattern because it's tight enough. Um, so it's good. This looks really good on the weekly chart. Go to the daily chart. I mean, look at this. It's trying to find support on 10 day. Every time it hit the 10 day, it bounce. Hit the 10 day, it bounce. So that's good. So let's see if we continue this pattern and then eventually take off again. Um, Again, this top 2 weeks ago, you can see the relative saving line has been going down. I'm like I'm a little bit worried about stocks like this because they have run up so much, right? So this was the second slope here, and right now it's doing good. It's going sideways. That's exactly what you want to see. So that's good. The question is, can it break out, or which like this, or is it gonna fall back down? And if it falls back, you have a lot more risk, right? Because probably it will fall back to 50 day. So now there's more risk with a lot of these stocks because of you know just how far it has come. But it is one of the strongest stocks, I think. Net. So net obviously super numbers, really good fundamental business. Uh, I don't, I'm not just surprised the institutions are not as it's not growing in this one. But anyhow, um, yeah, it broke out here. It hasn't even moved much, which is interesting too. I don't know why. Um, so here is 10 day. So Friday it fell below it slightly, not much, but still, it's still below it. So we'll see, right? Again, I feel like this market, like so many stocks are at the bottom of this tight range. I feel like if the market get any weaker in the new year, they're gonna break. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so like I said, there's way more stocks at the bottom of the tight range, and a lot of these strong stocks are building tight ranges right now. Even though this guy hasn't gone up a lot, but still, it's still at the new highs and stuff. So this is a Hong Kong-based GigaCloud global trade service company. I don't really know what they do, but this stock has been moving lately, and you can see this parabolic run and the top here from this base, and now it's running again, right? Very similar chart. Like you can see, it does extreme pullbacks here, and this is a under $20 stock, so that's even more volatile. You're talking about 10% swings probably on average. But nonetheless, it did break out. It did fall, and then it fall back, and then Friday. So volume is super high right now, like even on Christmas week. So, but it's just I'm pointing this out because it seems to keep showing up on IBD screen. Um, will it run parabolic like crazy, like like go up like this? Possible. Just because this stock is known for that. So, yeah, something to small cap, really small cap. So we'll see. This is a Hong Kong based company, but it is nonetheless making new highs. NVIDIA, we already looked at it, but let's look at it one more time. It's trading really tight. It's trying to come out on this tight base here. Like, look at this base, so tight. Trying to come out. If it comes out, I will really like it, right? But it has to come out. So I'm worried it won't come out. Just like as we mentioned with most of these mega caps, it hasn't come out in the whole December. So what makes it come out anytime soon? So that's the way I would think of this, But it is nonetheless like trying to make new high. PDD. So some of the Chinese stocks are have been hit hard recently, but now look at this. It formed a 4-week tight after this big run. So that looks PDD. I'm starting to see a lot. They own Temu, right? I don't know if you know Temu, TEMU, which is like an Amazon kind of thing. And they're like, I'm starting to see commercials now on YouTube and on I think even on TV, I believe. I can't remember. But I'm starting to see commercials everywhere, and like, so I don't know. This stock could be, and now I hear my wife always, she's a big Amazon shopper, but now she's also buying a lot of stuff from Temu. So I don't know. I think people are starting to know this brand now, and yeah. So I don't know. It looks pretty good. Look at this, right? It make a new high right here, and then it make a higher low, right? So also good sign, but it's still trading very tightly. It's flat right now, but I like this stock. It's looking very good to me, like because a lot of Chinese stocks. One Chinese stock that bounced on Friday was Miniso. It's been out on my radar for so long, but it's bouncing. Look at this. So RS rating is slowly coming back up. It is still under the moving average, so that's the risk right now. But it is nonetheless starting to come up. It's trading very tight around the bottom, right? This is the downtrend right here. So most people would have been shaken out by here, like this break right here, and then now we finally formed this tight base at the bottom, and now it's starting to come back up. So we'll see if this will work. But like I said, some of the Chinese stocks starting to bounce back. So anyhow, PDD, like I said, really strong. Never really corrected much. ServiceNow, man, this stock is an energizer bunny. I think this is, like I say, I many people say if Bill O'Neill were alive today, this would be his number one stock. It's just keep going up. Like, I mean, it's just one stock you could really believe in and hold. 14% correction. This one 18%. So even the two base, 18, 14, that's like nothing, right? And I mean, we came from far away. Like, even if you count from here, 400. Now we're at 700. Like in 1 year, right? That's pretty good. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Strong. Look at earnings continue to grow. I mean, they're doing everything right, and with AI on their back, I think they will do more business going forward. Like, this is nice chart. Look how it never trade like even by the moving averages. Yeah, I mean the RS trend is flat, but it's better than others, I think. And on Friday it actually moved up on a down day. So that is also another good sign. Yeah, if this guy breaks out again, I think, man, this stock is just gonna be the leader for sure. But it looks like it wants to. Like Friday, it moved the opposite. So that's good chart. LTR computer software. This is a smaller cap. Let's see how big it is. Yeah, it's much smaller. 6 billion. But this is in the computer software design. Oh, this is a really deep base, but it came out on probably, yeah, I don't know if there's any news. There's no earnings there, so I don't know what the news is. But anyhow, the numbers are turning around pretty good. Yeah, so it broke out right here. There must be some news. I don't know what the news is. And look at how tight this is trading. Look at every day it closed at the top range. Every day. So this is a really strong stock right now. ISG, hotel lodging, Lee. Lee is also corrected quite a bit. You can see here, here's a downtrend recently. But look at right now. Look at that slope, right? It's coming back. It's even stronger than this slope right here. When this guy moves, it moves. That's like this is the two slope right here. So we'll see. I believe New Year they might report some numbers. I think a lot of the EV makers will be reporting numbers in the New Year. So we'll see how will they do. But the numbers are explosive. Look at this, explosive. So like it has a good year so far. Like I say, it built this base at the end of the last few months. So we'll see whether it take off again. But I think Lee has a potential to be a leader, continue to be a leader. Okay, NVO. Let's look at this drug company. Again, same. This guy had been running the whole year. It built bases along the way, and then now we built another base. So let's see if it keep going. I mean, as I heard Ryan Watts, he's the IBD senior portfolio manager. He said the weight loss market is 30 to 40% of the whole U.S. population who's obesity, and right now they have only penetrated 2% of that so far in over a year, right? So there's a lot of growth if the weight loss market continue to take off, like tremendous growth opportunity. And so far, no one else has come close to Novartis and Lilly, right, in terms of their drug efficiency, efficacy, right? So right now, it's coming back on the right side. Let me go to the daily chart quickly, just to show. Yeah, it's near new high again, right? And again, this is acting well. We see a lot of stocks at the bottom of the range, but this stock is near the high of the range. We go to Lilly. Oops. Okay, so this one is a weaker one. It's now like still on the downtrend mode, and also it's on the bottom of the range. So MBO is definitely looks stronger in terms of the chart. But yeah, both of them will benefit from this huge shift in consumers wanting, I hear stories, like I'm not joking. I hear like people that my wife know, but because they're looking for this drug, the weight loss drug, Ozempic, for example, from Novartis, they're trying to buy it from like people online, whoever. I don't know where they get it from, but some people get it and they're selling it online. It's crazy. It's like so much demand for it. So Vortex, have a nice weekly breakout here. Look at how tight it traded after since, and it never came close to the 10-day. This is whenever you see a stock doesn't want to come close to the 10-day, those are good ones because they're probably gonna ride a longer uptrend. Yeah. So anyhow, this one looks good. Thursday, Friday got pulled back a little bit, but it's still very tight. So yeah, look at this volume. It's like so low. Again, obviously some due to holidays, but that is so low. Like I mean, you're talking about like this low right here. Like we're not talking about even middle low. This is so low. Like nobody will sell this stuff. So yeah, they have some, like I said, I can't remember the news, but there was some approval for something. So yeah, let's look at the biotech ETF. It's been pretty strong. It's coming back. Look at this. It's trying to break out right now. So if it breaks out, this is quite a long base right here. So it could be really good news for the market if the biotechs can really break out here. That will spawn a whole new leadership. Because right now we're still not seeing too many leaders in the biotech. There should be. There's lots of biotech. So yeah. Let's look at some industrials related stocks. This one in the building area, cement, concrete, broke out right here. It's now moving. This is a 50-day slope. And it's making new highs. Looks pretty good. test the 10-day here, close at the top, so that's good. Probably shake out some people. Small shakeout there. So yeah, this stock looks really nice chart. The chart looks really good. Next one, TT. This is in the heating area. AC. Relative strength is kind of flat, but the stock chart looks okay. It's like moving up nicely, slowly. Really strong slope too. Since it broke out right here. So looks pretty good. Next one is web tag. This one also broke out on a nice slope right now, riding the 10-day moving average. So it looks pretty good. Consolidate water. This has also been a leader this year. Form a base, go up, make the 20% gain. Now it's trying to form another base. And so far it's holding really tight on the 10-day and 21-day. We'll see if this one can continue its movement. But yeah, looks good. So the travel stock, most of them still look okay. Like RCLs, look at this 10-day slope. Trading really tightly, moving up nicely. Yeah, I like this chart a lot actually. On the weekly chart, it looks even better. A new all-time high. I mean, this cruising stuff is really taking off. Okay, so it's not at all-time high, getting really close. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, Expedia came back down a little bit this week, but the chart overall still looks good. IHG is another travel stock. So this one is building 3-week tight. Again, I mean, all these guys are, growing right now. People want experience. People are still traveling. Look at how tight this is trading. This is crazy. And look where it's trading at the top of the range. The building heavy construction just broke out. Again, the chart looks very nice, very tight trading. It will probably ride this 10-day for as long as it can. This is a leader before. You can see this run right here is pretty strong. Now it's moving again. Another one's APG. This is a small guy in the physical security space. It's also riding 10-day, trading really tight. It's now at 25% profit level. Overall, like I think the market is definitely digesting right now after a good year. I think this is the second best year for NASDAQ, 40 something percent, right? 45% or something, 44%, something like that. I think the best year was like almost 50%. So it's pretty good year for NASDAQ, even for S&P it's pretty good. So overall, right now we see the mega caps digesting. Whether they will fall apart, I'm not sure in the new year, whether people will start to sell heavily, as most of those have strong gains this year. So we want to see whether that Magnificent Seven theme continues. I personally still like them just because with AI they will benefit the most because they have the question is whether they can do what Microsoft does and just get into it quickly versus trying to build their own, because building your own, unless like Google, who has been at it for a long time, Microsoft, who has been at it for a long time, but the other newcomers, if they're trying to build their own, it might take a longer time, right? So we'll probably see more IPOs next year, and maybe some of them will be AI related. So yeah, lots of, I think Max 7 is still going to be good. Like Tom Lee said, it might not be the best sector, but it's still going to perform pretty good. So I want to see, especially in the first few weeks of January, whether they get sold off, because I'm worried that will lead to sell off in other tech areas as well. Then really, right now, I would say for me, I have been half of my portfolio have been always tech this rally so far. So without them, I don't see how the market could continue such a strong rally. So that is something to pay attention to. And I'm going into New Year with 60% equity and 40% cash. So I have decreased a lot in terms of equity standing. which was close to 90% almost 3 weeks ago. So, but like I say, a lot of them are starting to show weakness rather than strength. And I'd rather be more on the cautious side, just in case this pullback becomes stronger. Yeah, hope everyone had a new year, and happy new year to all, and wish you the best of all and best prosperity and so forth. Thank you for listening.